Okay, so how do we change the graph? Well, if you right click on the white space in the chart, you should get an option menu coming up. If you choose select data. Okay, so over here we have labels of the data, and over here we have the series. So I don't want this label, this random label, so if I click it and click edit, okay, this refers to A5 and A6. So looking at my table, A5 and A6, it's already highlighted those cells. So I don't want the A6, so I can remove that. So if I just backspace and get rid of the colon, I click OK. Okay, that label is gone. I'm going to delete it from the cell. It just records what it used to be before. And I also want to get rid of the number. So I click on my sheet, and here it says column B and 5 and 6. So again, I don't want B6. So oops, made a mistake there. So just go back. So get rid of B6 and the colon. Okay. So it should only plot the B5 number, and there should be no label now for this. And as you can see, the blue bit has disappeared, and we're just left with the analog, which is good. That's what I wanted to do. So this is a bit hard to read actually. Let me just double click it. Maybe I can change the font. Oops. So if I selected that box, I've got a menu coming up here. Font. I don't know where the font is. No. Okay, so let me go onto the home menu, and I can change it here, so make it a bit bigger, easier to read. Okay, good. So what about this chart down here? Well, we set the number of data points to about 65,000, so our chart could, go on forever really. Let's see if I can expand. I just want to get the white bit. No, I can't go beyond the boundary of that. Okay. Well, actually, that's interesting. It stops at 59, so there's obviously some setting here where it only goes up to the 59th value inside this blue boundary, the default original boundary. So let's do the same kind of thing here. We want to remove the blue values, which occur in column E. So right click on the white space, select data. Okay, I've got all these numbers down here. Again, labels. These are my index points, the number of rows. So that's actually appearing on the x-axis. So I want to keep that, so I'm not going to do anything with these. Now I've got two series here. I guess that's the analog one. It's more important, and this is probably the one for the random number. So let me just check that. Edit. Yeah, there's column E here. You can see there's an E. So it reads from column E 11 to column E in row 70. So the total number of rows inside there is 70 minus 11, which is the 59. So I want to get rid of all of this. I don't want this column E. So if I go back and I just click remove, there, it's removed that random variable. Good, that's what I want. So click OK, and maybe we can actually delete this whole column now, seeing as we don't really need it. Oops, wrong way. Yeah, I'm not too keen on these new versions of Excel. All this grey colouring, it's actually very hard to see things. Maybe that's the point of doing it, perhaps, but for me it's not as easy to see as the old ones when the grey bar was a bit darker. Okay, so I've removed my random number column. So let me remove this also. Just click delete. Shift cells to the left so I don't make this table jump up here. Okay, good. Now let me reactivate. Oh, so let me drag this up first. Try and put it side by side. Oh yeah, we still have that problem with it being limited to 59 values. So let's go back into that series of data. And well, 65,000 plus 11 will be 65,011. So that should plot all of those points. Wow, okay, it's really compressed it. So it's trying to show the whole scale. Now we can go into the chart properties here to kind of only plot the actual values and not the empty cells. Okay, well, we'll do that later. So let me just make this a sensible value. Edit and go to maybe 170. No, that's probably a bit too much actually. 100. Okay, good. So we can see all the data is kind of spread out. The axes are it's a bit hard to read. So maybe I'll just go to let's have what we did before. Let's put 70. We can play with this a bit later. Okay, yeah, so we can read all the numbers now. Okay, so let's open up our serial port after we resize this chart. So I'll have to squash it together again. Move it up here. Maybe I can compress it slightly. Oop. And move this here. And I can expand that one slightly. Here we go. Oop, that's way too much. So I can go a little bit more. Sorry about this, my mouse skills are pretty lousy because I can't really see the handle. Okay, there we go. Right, so let's reset everything. I think we have to delete it. It's a bit of a pain, this. There should be a button, or we can code a button which will delete all this data if you want to start again. And let's just delete this one as well. Let's make that disappear. Still not too sure what this number is. So this was present in the spreadsheet at the very beginning. I'm sure it has some function, but I'm not too sure what it is, so I'm just going to leave it. Right, so bring up my interface menu, click COM port 3, connect, and we should see the data coming through. Yay! Okay, I'll adjust my pot so we get a bit of variation in this. Again, it's not going up to 5 volts like it did in the beginning, which is very curious. So I've gone to one extreme towards ground. It's still not reading 0, it should be. Let me go up slowly. No, still not getting 5 volts. Maybe it's something about this sketch which is problematical. Anyway, okay, so I have some variation there. Now, actually, we can change this a bit more. Scientific data is not normally shown in this format. We can change the chart type. So if I just click on my chart, I get this menu at the top appearing. I can go into design and then chart type option. So XY scatter is usually the way that scientific data is shown, and we can often show it as smooth curves between points. This is what you normally use for continuous data. Like an analog signal is continuous, time is continuous, distance is continuous if it's changing. Or you can have straight lines. Straight lines are kind of okay, they can be a bit easier to visualize. So let's just have a look at that. Okay. So this is, it's changed the color. Okay, we need to, well, we should have color coherence. So let's try and change that color. So if I right click that, format, I need to format. Okay, if I double click the line, I get this menu coming up. So maybe paint. Okay, so choose red. So I just, oh, it's only done that one particular point. I need to do the whole line. Why is it only doing 1 point? Because it says data point. I don't want just a data point. I want the whole line. Okay, so let me undo this. Sorry about this. I don't usually cope with these changes in color. Let me redo that one. Okay, so I have to change the entire data set. Okay, yeah, now it says series. So I just right clicked on a point. So if I click red now, it should change the whole thing. Brilliant. Okay, these blue dots, can I live with them being blue? And they're a bit big. The marker, let's see, the marker, let's make it black. And can we have an X shape? Do we have a marker options? Okay, let's make it a kind of an X. I quite like X's. They usually kind of contain information about errors and stuff like that. So let me choose this one. Okay, that's okay, looks nice.